My name is Paul Ireton.
My name is Ireton, and over the past 15 years, we have had the incredible privilege of building a business together, but at the same time, just building a great life. We've been married for over 15 years now and have 4 kids along the way, and just what an incredible, honor to be able to build a business and at the same time build a life together. So, with all that said, take it away.
Awesome, thank you. And by the way, my wife has done this business with me from the beginning till today, and it's a great place to build something in harmony together where 2 people in love go after a common cause and do something spectacular and great. So, as I'm starting here over the next 15 minutes here, whether a good friend of yours shared this link with you, somebody that cared enough about you, or maybe someone just wanted to share the concepts of what we do. I want to share with you guys just 3 basic things that will help you out, whether it's in my business or yours, or maybe a future endeavor that you plan to do. This video will help you out. And so the first concept I want to share with you guys is something that actually was a concept that Robert Kiyosaki shared over a couple of decades ago. Some of you guys might have heard of it before already familiar with the concept. But maybe this will be a refresher for you or a reminder of what you already know. But I want to share with you just that. And before I share with you, I want to ask you a question. If the next 5 years is the same as the last 5 years, would you be satisfied? And if the answer is no, what's your plan? What's the plan behind that? And so one of the things that I understood, as Robert Kiyosaki has shared this in the past, there's basically four different ways we can make money in the United States legally, right? And so first one is we're an employee, right? So an employee describes anybody that's trading time for money, right? So this is anytime I'm trading time for money, right? Doesn't matter if I'm a physician, a dentist that sees my own patient, a physician that sees my own patient. I can be an insurance sales guy, car sales, whatever it might be. I'm trading time for money, and I can also be in a position where I'm self-employed. And so the challenge here with somebody being an employee, as I make more money I make, the more taxes usually there is. And so more money I make, the more taxes is assessed. And I'm constantly trading time for money, which means I have give you an example. One of my colleagues, that's a business partner of mine now, was a nurse, and usually a nursing job, if I'm working 12-hour shifts, in 3 days, I'm pretty much full-time. So I'm doing 12-hour shifts. In 3 days, that's pretty much a full-time job. And what happens here, he was doing it for over a decade, and then they decided to have a child, and so he said, no problem, honey, I'll just work an extra day. So he's at 4 days a week, and after that, they decided to have another child. Now, the decision usually when you're making a house, usually for them, they go, oh, I can just work extra, you can still stay home. And so the decision was to buy a home, go from an apartment to buy a home. And that basically, he said, no problem, honey, I'll just go work 5 days a week, and we can get in our dream home where we can raise our kids and family. And the challenge with this is now he's working, 6 days a week. 6 days a week to be able to afford that mortgage. A typical nurse makes $500 to $700 a day, just depending on minus taxes, obviously, and all that. So he's at 6 days a week, 1 day off a week, and this is usually, for his particular scenario, it was a graveyard shift, which means he's working 6 days a week, 12-hour shift. And now he's in a position where he has 1 day a week, and when he gets home and his day off, he has to adjust his time clock just because he's been working graveyard all week, and somehow the house he has, the cars they have, the family they have, he sees basically 1 day a week, and the days he's working, he barely sees them. Maybe an hour if he's lucky, just because you still got to sleep, get ready, do a whole bunch of stuff, maybe errands, all sorts of stuff that's done there. So now he's stuck basically. The solution for having a better life was to what? Trade time for money, which means he worked more days in exchange for money. So what took place now, he has a 4,000 square foot home, couple cars, kids, but no life. So I'm making money, but I don't have a life. And so, or some people's solution is they become self-employed, and that could be because they get a real estate license, they're a notary public, insurance sales guy, maybe whatever facet it is. It might be, like I said, a dentist that sees their own patient, doctor that sees their own patient, basically they're still trading time for money, which means if I don't show up in court and I'm a lawyer, I don't have any earning capability that day, right? If I go on vacation, I no longer make income. And so it's a trading time for money. Most people here make a little bit more money than an employee or a typical employee. And when I say a little, maybe 50, 60 grand more a year. The challenge here though, if you put them in a corner and you go, hey, how's it really being self-employed? What they'll tell you, the truth is, they go, man, sometimes I just work too much, or when I leave, I'm still working and I'm just never off, right? I'm just never off. I work too much. A lot of times they're working 12, 15, 16-hour days, especially if someone's a restaurant owner or a real estate agent. You could be out on vacation and you're bombarded while you're in vacation, so you never really had a chance to vacate. And so somebody that's self-employed is in the same situation where they're constantly trading time for money. And so one of the things that's shared by Robert Kiyosaki is, as long as my income comes from this quadrant, these two sides of the quadrant, I will never become financially independent. And financial independence is basically described as, basically I have time and money at the same time, right? I'm not trading time for money. I have both time and money at the same time with the vehicle I'm using to earn income. So he says, man, if I want to become financially independent, right, where I have time and money, my income needs to come from these two sources, right? So one is a business owner. So most people that are self-employed, they think they own a business. Because they go, oh, I have a cookie shop, or I own a real estate company. But you take them away from their business for 6 to 12 months, they don't have a business. And so that's how Robert Kiyosaki defines it, where you leave your business for 6 to 12 months, and you come back and it's still profitable, then now you have a business. Why? The separator between a business owner and somebody that's self-employed is their business runs on a system, which means whether they're there or not, it systematically runs, right? There's a system in place, people run the system runs the business, whether it's a McDonald's, Starbucks, and any big type of business. This can be also small business, this is also considered big business, right? And so what happens here, the next portion here, instead of me working for money, my money is working for me. So my money makes money, right? One of the things also, as an investor, this is I as an investor. One thing great about being an investor is, especially, and obviously you put money where you know where it's going, you do some studies on it and make sure you know where you're putting your money. But as soon as you do, every dollar you put away, this is the analogy I'll share with you. Every dollar you put away, it's like employing somebody to go work for you 24 hours a day. And here's what's one thing great about employing your money, okay? Instead of you being employed by money, you employ your money. And here's the great thing about this employee. It doesn't talk back, it doesn't complain, it doesn't take a day off, it doesn't get tired, right? That's why you want to be an investor, right? On this quadrant here, where I have my income either coming from, whether it's real estate, stocks, or whatever it might be, right? This is not a solicitation to become an investor, but it's basically any type of investment that brings in, obviously, income to you. This is any type of business that brings income to you. Think about it. This could be a 401k. It could be anything. And so this may be your current 401k at your job. Again, this is not a solicitation, but I'm saying if you saved enough money, right, in the right vehicle, whatever it is vehicle you're saving at, and it spits out income without you having to involve any time, then now you're an investor. Okay? So the important thing here is my income has to come from here to become financially independent. So like I said, the question I ask you, if the next 5 years is the same as the last 5 years, would you be satisfied? And if the answer is no, I start looking for vehicles that pay me in this side of the quadrant. Okay? That's one thing. The second thing I want to share with you, how many of you are interested in becoming totally financially independent? Okay? And if the answer is yes, which I'm assuming 100% of you, then you need to know the rules to the money game, or rules to money, right? There's some rules to money that you got to know. So when you're saving or investing, then you know the rules to money, then you know what to look for. And so I want to share with you guys, we call this the 4 cornerstones of a great financial foundation. And the first one to it is basically, wherever you're investing, obviously, one of the things you got to look at is my money really growing, right? So is my money growing where I'm putting my money at? Is there growth in it? So the challenge for most people is they put their money in the bank and they get a 1% on it. That's if the bank's being generous. And there's a concept. Remember I told the rules of money? So there's a concept called Rule 72 that Benjamin Franklin came up with. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. And it's a simple rule, and it's not taught in the bank or the school system. Some do, but most don't. But you take basically this a rate of 1% here, and we have 10,000. You and me have $10,000 to invest, and our question to the bank is how long will it take from 10,000 to 20,000? How long will it take to double our money? Again, the bank is probably not going to share that with you, but it's a simple rule. We take the interest rate, divide that to 72, and that's pretty simple math there. That would take 72 years for our money to double. So think about it. How many 72 years does the average person have? Either one or none, right? And that's if they save real early on. So the bank turns around and they put it in credit cards, auto loans, whatever endeavor they put it in. You know, they manage to average way more than 10% over the last, since the Great Depression. And so 10 goes to 72, 7.2 years. Okay, so let's just assume that the bank does that, and whether they get more of that or less, depending on credit cards, all that. They're doubling every 7 years. We're doubling every 72 years. And so you see the challenge there, of course, right? So all we do is basically, instead of, just be aware of what the growth is on your current money, and if there's a way to get what the bank is getting instead of getting what the bank is giving, are you open to those options? And so there's obviously ways to invest there, and where you can get anywhere in between there, and basically allowing you to grow your money. So Rule 72 is working for you versus against you. That's the real concept of this. It's not to quote you a rate or any of that. It's basically, is Rule 72 working for you or against you? So it's doubling for you. If I have a credit card at 24%, it's working against me. My debt is doubling, right, as I pay the minimum balance there. The next concept we want to share is safety. And when I talk about safety, I'm talking about more safety from, kind of losses from the market. That's really what I'm sharing here, is losses from the market. So if this is an example of 2008 and the market tanks here, there's a lot of, there's some investment choices where I can have my money locked in right here instead of tanking here. And when it starts to go up, instead of starting from here, it starts from here. So basically, instead of this, I don't know if you guys can see all this, but if this was the bank, almost like a gradual growth, this is the market, this would look more like this, right? So when the market tanks, instead of my money tanking, it stays plateau. When it starts to go back up, it starts from here. It starts from this point, right here, versus here. And there's a big difference. I learned, we call this the power of zero, okay? The power of zero. The wealthy call this the power of zero. If I have 100,000 here and we lose 50% of our money, we would have 50,000 to go from 50 back to 100. Okay, just some simple math here. To go from 50 back to 100, I used to think because I lost 50,000, I lost 50%, I need to gain 50%. Well, 50% of this is only 25,000, so I actually need to gain 100%. And this is just to break even. I haven't even made any money. Here's the other thing I lost. I lost time. So people that lost in 2008, the timeline between this and this, for most people, this was a 5 to 6 year turnaround time before their money became even. And so as I'm looking at this, if I can grow my money in a decent way, have some safety, right, where there's a power of zero, right? And in the same token, I can take advantage of some tax advantage products where I can, basically there's some tax advantage products where I can have some write-off for my current investment, tax write-off, or maybe in the future where I can retire, I can have some retirement that's taken out tax-free withdrawals, right? I can take advantage of tax-free withdrawals or tax-free loans through policy loans, right? I can take advantage of some of those. There's ways to do this. Again, people have managed to take advantage of products. Again, it's just knowing the rules to money. If you know where to put it, instead of, let's say, instead of putting in this vehicle versus this, and the difference between the two is one is taxed now, one is taxed later, one is taxed never. There's boxes you can check on an application that says basically this is something that's a tax now, right? This is something that's tax deferred, and this is something that has some tax advantage. So those are, the third rule to money, just know the tax consequence of your investment. And then lastly is protection. So protection, there we go. So when it comes to protection, most people, they protect their homes, their cars, their cell phone nowadays. There's Geek Squad protection, so they protect their iPhones, their laptops. But the challenge, most people don't protect their income. They don't have adequate protection for in case something happens to them and have a disability or long-term care, right? There's a huge demand for long-term care, right? For whether, having long-term care, it's very, it's a very minimum premium if you got an early, part, even later part. I mean, I have clients that get this in later stage of their life, in the 50s, 60s, some of them in the 70s. And then third is protecting my estate. So those are the three things you should protect. So if I worked hard for the last 30, 40 years, I should have some sort of, protect something to protect my estate. On top of that, if something were to happen to my capability to work, I have a disability kicks in, something happens to my health in a long-term way, there's something that pays out. Something happens to my income, something pays out, and either something happens to my life or my ability to work, right? And so these are three fundamental things. I've seen people have a tremendous amount of money, they have all the right investment, they have all the right vehicle, they can even be debt-free, but they didn't have this, and it shattered everything else. And I have a great example of that I can share with you guys, but I'll save that for next time. But that's one area. So people can have all this figured out. They have the right investment, they have the right thing, but they don't have the right protection. It's shattered. Something happens to me, the family can be shattered. I have 4 kids, and even if you didn't have kids, right, the whole thing can be shattered. So that's my question to you. Are you aware of these financial rules, these financial fundamentals that you should know, your kids should know, right? Think about it. This is probably my speculation is the last generation where we're gonna have Social Security, pensions are going away, and really the only form of retiring or becoming financially independent is putting your money in the right vehicle and saving, right? Personal savings is the only way to retire for most people. Because even if you had Social Security, it's a supplemental plan, right? It's not gonna fulfill your entire retirement. And so, just want you to be aware of that. So this is what we do for families. Whether someone has $100, $200, $300 a month to save, or they have $5,000 a month away. Just a few months ago, I helped out a family. The first family I sat down with was a single mom with 3 kids. We helped her put together a plan, and literally it was $120. And that we put some insurance plan there, something for the kids, and something $120 basically we put a plan together for her. We're protected in all facets, and there was some sort of savings plan there. The same day I sat down with a doctor who put $5,000 a month away. And so my point is we deliver the same financial education message to the average American family, and we have a cheesy saying of no family left behind, but we actually mean it, right? Lastly here, I want to share with you guys. Lastly here is 4 areas. As I post this, as I share this with you, I want you guys to ask yourself another question. Does your current career or business or job have enough horsepower to get you to your dreams and goals? Again, if the answer is no, I would start to find something. So if I have, let's say I need to save $2,000 a month, and my job doesn't allow me to do that because of bills, because of this, or I just have a bigger dream and my job is not capable of delivering on that dream. So again, does your current job or position or career or business have enough horsepower to get you to your dreams and goals? And if the answer is no, what are you going to do? What's your options when it comes to that? Uber's not going to solve everything. They solve immediate crisis, like lack of bills that's due this week. Another overtime is not going to solve it. So what's your plan, right? What's your plan in this side of the quadrant? So that's my challenge to you as you're listening to this. And so in my particular business, we have 4 different ways we make income. And so the first way we make income is through personal efforts. So this is our personal income I make through personal efforts, which means I help out a family that puts away, let's just say, $300 to $400 a month in a typical plan that we have. One of our flagship products, let's say, that encompass all 4. So we have a product that basically I can grow my money, keep it safe, tax advantage on the products, and in the same token, I have protection, right, for my family. So we have a product that has all 4 of this, and our average client puts away $300 to $400 a month in it. That basically typically is around 3,000 points. We'll just call it 3,000 points. Our average contract is at 45%. So the average family we help, or the average agent we have that helps out a family, will make about $1,350, right? And this is typically 2 to 3 hours worth of work. Let's just say it's 2 hours worth of work, right, to put together this plan. We sit down the first visit, second visit, we implement the plan. I put myself in a position where I'm worth $675 an hour. Remember the question I had for you is, the other question I have for you, what's your earning power where you're at? So imagine being in a position where you put yourself in a position where you're worth $675 an hour. Where, let's say, even as a nursing, let's say I'm a nurse and I have the highest pay, let's say I'm on $80 or $100 an hour. If I can make that an hour here, I just save 7 hours of my time. So this is a way, and again, it doesn't have to be my business. I would look for something that increases your earning power from whatever it is, 20 bucks, 30 bucks to 100 or 50 to 200, right? Find ways to earn additional income where you increase your earning power. That's the main thing I would look at. So average family we help. So you look at our, a part-time agent that helps out 2 to 4 families a month. They're in a position where they're making $2,700 to $5,400 a month on a part-time basis. And so obviously that beats Uber, that beats a lot of other opportunities there. It beats getting another job that consumes my entire time. Here's also one thing I look at as I got started with a company. Worst case and best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I get a world-class financial education and I make no money. Those are 2 worst case scenario. Think about it. And maybe I spent maybe I spent $300-400 bucks to get some courses and licensing, right? That's literally it, right? So now I got a world-class financial education. I spent $300-400 bucks, which I can't get this education anywhere else, right? As far as the content we deliver, the classes you have access to and all that stuff. And obviously, best case scenario, I can put myself in a position where I make an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month part-time, or even maybe make it a career where I make a great 6-figure income, multiple 6-figure income, for some people 7 figures. And let me share with you the second way we make income, which is training income. Anybody been in a position where they've trained people in the past and never got compensated for it, or just got taken advantage of, where you trained everybody but you really didn't get any credit for that? And so we have a training income. We have a training income where you can basically train, and if you're good at something, I think you should train people, right? If you're good at something and you're pretty proficient at it, you know how to do this work, you simply train other people. And basically, we pay you 15 to 30% to train, and basically that's 15 to 30% over the production of your team, right? Whatever your production of the team is, you get 15 to 30%. And to me, that was lucrative because I actually like to share what I've learned all the time. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm sharing what I'm learning to other people. In return, I get a management spread of 15 to 30% on their production. They grow, I grow, right? We don't get paid for recruiting, we don't get paid for training people, but we do get paid when you make money, right? Or when the agents we train make money. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of that in our system. It's a very great way to pass on, and so now it's a mentorship model that's built in, right? And so it's a model where everybody's mentored. There's a mentorship program that is built into our system. The third way is expansion income. Some of you might be listening on this and you go, man, I'm already a business owner. I want to talk about expanding, opening up different locations, having an ability to have 5 locations, 1 location, whatever it might be. And as you're listening to this is our expansion income. So we share, if you're going, what's in it for us? You know, one of the things that I'm proud of is in our system, basically, we give royalty for expansion. So if someone were to expand and become, so basically we give the privilege of someone to become a business owner, right? In our company, where it's your business, we deed the company to you. There's some vesting period and all that stuff, but we deed the business to you. You can sell the business at one point if you wanted to, and have a ability to sell it, you know, for depending, you know, 6, 8, 10 times the annual revenue of that income, the business. And so, if you're going, what's in it for us? The company gives us 12 to 17% royalty on every business owner we develop, right? We call them senior marketing director. We call them a senior marketing director. Every time we develop a business owner, the senior marketing director, which is an ownership position, basically an agency owner, we get 12 to 17% off their entire production for the life of their business. This doesn't come from them. They get paid the same regardless. An SMD and myself, we get paid the same way. The difference is the company. The way, again, it's structured in a way where we get pretty much a royalty, right? Similar to a franchise system works. We get a royalty of 12 to 17% off their business. And it's a great way, again, to leverage growth, pour everything you got to someone's benefit, and then they grow and they can even surpass you, do incredible things. There's a lot of people that get started here, they have more ambition, more drive, more desire to win, maybe bigger goals and dreams, and they surpass a lot of people that's staying here. But we had an ability to make 12 to 17% of passive income off their agency, right? So we got that. Lastly, this is bonus income. And depending on when this, when you're listening to this video, but this can range anywhere between 7 and 9.5%. The company basically takes 7 to 9.5% of the entire company's profit. They put it into these bonus pool, and every month we get to share this in 3 different pools. We are able to share it, and basically it's similar to a profit share. We get to share the company's profit on 3 different areas based on how my agency performs, based on how my agency owners, how they perform, and my entire team, how my entire team performs. So imagine being in a position where basically every month we get to share the entire company's profit on all 3 of those areas. So now I have all these incomes. So if we were to just wrap this up, these 2 incomes here is in this side of the quadrant. So while I'm building my business, I am self-employed, right? And eventually I transition to business owner. The challenge for most people, they think they're a business owner, they haven't built anything yet. So I'm a self-employed until I built a business, until they built an agency, until I open up offices. I'm self-employed until that point. Which means my income is gonna come, most of it from here. Maybe, and then this is obviously transitioning more, where I transition to here, but as I get my income from here, here, and here, then obviously I'm in a position where I start having my income here. And so when I mentioned that at the beginning, I go, do you have a way to have income from here? And here's how I look at it. We're in the money industry, okay? If I ask you a question, what is the most dominant thought that people have on a daily basis? Do they think about, like if I'm in a furniture business, do I think about furniture every day? If I'm in the car business, do I think about cars every day? Even if I'm in real estate, do people think about houses every day? And the answer is no. That's sometimes it's thought about every year, every 5 years, depending if they're moving, this, that, all right? So we're in a business where this is all Steve Jobs got a chance to do. He's genius in this way. What he took, instead of thinking about, back then you kept a phone, our cell phones we kept for 2, 3, 4 years. Nowadays, it's every 6 months, maybe a year, because he got us, and when I say he, Steve Jobs, he got us to think of the phone every 6 months or every 12 months, where we upgrade every 6 months to the latest and the greatest technology. So we took something now that we weren't thinking about, and it was just a phone, to now it's constantly enhanced. You constantly want the next thing. So now he made us think of the phone every 6 months. Well, think about money. When I'm pumping gas, most people think about which gas station to go to. They just thought about money. When we're in a restaurant, I'm looking at the menu from right to left. I just thought about money. When we're sending our kids to school, we're thinking about money. When we're thinking about the neighborhood to live in, we're thinking about money. So it's consumed. And so to me, as I end this, I wanted to be in a position where my mind and my spirit wasn't so consumed about money. You know, I know we're talking about everything here was about money, but the reason we pay attention to it, so my mind and spirit is not consumed by it. See, money's only an issue when you don't have it. Right? Money is only an issue when you don't have it. It's the constant conversation only when you don't have it. And so I love, we happen to be filming this on Independence Day. I think the true form of independence is for you to become financially independent, your family to become financially independent. And so whether this is the vehicle you pick or something else, we would love to have you in the team. We would love to have a chance to have you interview in one of our offices. And I think it's a great journey. I think it's a great decision if you do take a part of it. Decisions are shaped. Your destiny is shaped by the decisions you make. And so whether this is a decision that you want to make to maybe get on board with us, maybe it's just to learn how money works, maybe it's to get more acclimated, maybe it's to be around people with positive energy and positive people and positive environment, because maybe you don't get that at work. Or maybe it's to do something great and impact the world, and maybe it's to do something bigger than yourself. It's to contribute to society and maybe a bigger contributor to church. Do some, maybe foundations and all that stuff. We have all sorts of stuff that people do this for. Whatever your reason says, we want to know what it is. We want to help you get there. If you win, we win, and it's the only way we win here in our company. So thank you very much for joining us. Again, my name is Paul Ireton. Look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.